to authenticate the code.
Whether the target is your money or your safety, corruption can't hide from the Emmy Award-winning Coin investigators. Watch tonight, only on Coin 6 News. Coin 6 News. People.
Good morning, I'm Charles Osgood, and this is Sunday Morning, the first Sunday of 1999. It seems too good to be true. Gasoline prices down, home heating costs down, airline fuel down. Oil may still be black gold, but there seems to be more than enough of it around these days to help fuel our robust economy. How did we get from shortage to glut? Fill her up is our cover story from Ray Brady.
25 years ago, the Arab oil embargo left motorists fuming and fretting in long lines, desperate for gasoline. Today, the stuff's plentiful and cheap, partly the result of that emergency. But have we bought into an illusion, a false sense of security? Later on Sunday morning, we'll examine the legacy of the gas lines.
Martha Teichner will have the story of two men who changed careers and in so doing have changed the landscape of children's books. Pastime which for them is child's play. First Impressions is Alison Stewart's take on singer Rufus Wainwright, a young man who, as you'll see, does not fit neatly into any category.
When your famous parents name you Rufus McGarrigle Wainwright, you have a couple of choices. You could change your name, or you could live up to it. Later on Sunday morning, you'll meet a 25-year-old musician who not only sports that name, he does it with style.
With Jerry Bowen, we'll visit some of the descendants of the great gold rush that changed America 150 years ago. John Leonard will be along with a review of the new Charles Dickens miniseries on Masterpiece Theater. And from our collection of memorable features from the past we call our Sunday Best, we'll rebroadcast a conversation with the retiring host of Masterpiece Theater, Russell Baker, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist who's also left his long-running column in the New York Times. And we'll chat with CBS News Middle East correspondent Bob Simon on how all this impeachment talk is playing overseas. But first, here are the top stories for this Sunday, the 3rd of January. It is Dig-Out Day in the Midwest. A huge winter storm has blanketed the region with heavy snow, sleet, and ice. At least 12 deaths have been blamed on the storm. Chicago had its second largest snowfall ever. Jim Axelrod is there.
It's been a weekend of historic weather in Chicago. They haven't seen snow like this here since the late 70s.
It's bad. You know, it's like you can't get no place, you know what I mean? I'm hungry, but I want to walk to McDonald's.
The plows and blowers will be back at it today after a full day yesterday. Chicago could see up to 2 feet by the time it's over.
To me, it's a winter wonderland. To some people, it might be a winter horror.
In Chicago, politicians have lost elections for botching snowstorm preparations, which is why for the last several days, an army of city employees have piled sandbags along the shores of Lake Michigan, hoping to prevent the wind from blowing the icy water up and over onto Lakeshore Drive.
It's unbelievable. The plows plow, salt, and as you can see, the drifts come back and back.
It's been a brutal weekend across the Midwest. A 30-car pileup in Racine, Wisconsin, round-the-clock shifts for plows in Missouri, and line after line in airport after airport. This spokesman from the Lincoln Park Zoo is speaking for much of Chicago. After a mild start to the winter season, trouble is here, and more snow is forecast for the middle of the week. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, Chicago.
Blizzard conditions will continue in the Midwest and Great Lakes area. Northern Illinois should expect 2 to 4 more inches of snow, but 4 to 8 inches will fall in Michigan and Wisconsin. Making matters worse will be winds gusting between 30 to 60 miles per hour, and wind chill factors close to 40 below. There will be rain along the Atlantic coast, along with some icing in New England. The deep south will turn very cold today. Out west, expect a clear, dry day. In sports, Miami has its first playoff win in 4 years, as Dan Marino and the Dolphins topped Doug Flutie and Buffalo Bills 24-17 in their wild card game. And in another, the Cardinals had their first playoff win in 52 years, upsetting the Dallas Cowboys. Jake Plummer was spectacular. See that shovel pass to Adrian Morrell? Well, neither did the Cowboy defense, and in he went for the first score. And in the third quarter, with the score 10-0, Plummer rolled right and found Larry Centers to make it 17-0. Final score 20-7 Arizona over Dallas. Of oil and excess when Sunday Morning continues.
When you think Banner Furniture, think factory direct savings on name brand furniture store-wide. Prices slashed on mattresses, sofas, recliners, dinettes, and more. Factory direct to Banner Furniture, 82nd and Division in Portland and TV Highway in Hillsborough.
He's an agreeable guy.
That's ridiculous.
Who cares?
Yeah, big deal.
The deal with
He's not one to argue
Well, no, don't skip past it.
or pick a fight
You're not going to answer the question, are you?
or flaunt his opinions.
Get him out because he is worthless and useless.
Okay, maybe not. Lars Larson is coming to Coin 6 News, and he's bringing his opinions with him.
Think about it. Even if the
Watch and see what the buzz is all about. Lars Larson on Coin 6 News beginning January 4th.
I really wish my mom could just talk to me sometimes after school.
Every young person needs some simple things to help them succeed in life. You can help kids succeed when you just take the time.
To know somebody's there and to know somebody's listening to me. It would have made me feel so much better.
Coin TV and the Multnomah Commission on Children and Families urge you to take the time. Talk with your kids tonight and really listen to them.
It makes me feel valued. It feels really good.
Call for more free tips on how you can help kids succeed.
He's a news professional who understands the big issues.
gun control is a joke.
Sports,
We should have a great baseball stadium and a Major League Baseball team.
entertainment,
We should have a great amphitheater built in North Portland.
and the environment.
The house up the gorge should be allowed to stand.
Lars Larson knows the issues, and he knows where he stands on them. Now, he's coming to Coin 6 News and bringing his opinions with him. Watch and see what the buzz is all about. Lars Larson on Coin 6 News, beginning January 4th. Every local TV station has a website, but only one stands out. Channel 6000 is Coin 6 News Online, rated #1 in Portland and top 10 in the nation. Log on to Channel 6000 to get what you want when you want it.
You may call it a fluke, an aberration, a happy accident. But the price of oil and gas continues to fall, taking down with it all those doomsday predictions we heard not so long ago. Predictions about our oil supply drying up, the Arab states grabbing hold of the industrial world's economy. Exactly what did happen to the much talked about and much worried about energy crisis? Ray Brady tells us in our cover story.
Fill her up. It's hard to believe those few words could create a national crisis. Hard to believe because gas and oil are plentiful now and cheap. But 25 years ago, during the Arab oil embargo, as Americans waited in long lines, they watched the pumps run dry. Christmas at the White House found a government with its hands tied. President Nixon turned off the lights on the traditional Christmas tree to save energy. At many gas stations, there simply was no gas.
It was a total disaster. It was one of the most frustrating periods of time in my entire life. I would never want to go through it again.
After 53 years at the pump, it was a time Anthony Russo will never forget.
This is last of the signs that are left in the 73 crisis that we put on the last car. Last car in line.
And how long did your auto line stretch here?
Approximately 4 blocks up the street.
4 blocks up the street
From here up the street.
to get gasoline?
Yep, to get gasoline.
What happened to the guy who was behind the car that was the last?
He's very upset. He was very upset.
He was not the only one.
What do you think of all this?
I think the government ought to be shot down. I think it's a hoax. I think the gasoline and the oil companies are making far too much money.
I don't think there's a shortage. I think somebody's full of baloney. I think they're going to keep this up until they get the price to where the oil companies want it. And then we'll get plenty of gas.
A world away, Arab oil producers, angry that the United States had sided with Israel in the 1973 war, slapped on an embargo. No more oil for America. A devastating blow at the time because more than 1/3 of our supply came from foreign production. Predictions were the U.S. would run out of its own oil by the turn of the century.
How did it feel in those days? we felt that we were in the center of a maelstrom.
3 years later, James Schlesinger, the defense secretary during the Arab oil embargo, was named the nation's first energy secretary.
I, James R. Schlesinger,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear.
At a time when OPEC, the Organization of Foreign Oil Producers, again slashed production, this time to raise prices. Those long lines at the pump came back.
I covered those OPEC meetings, and at the time they were the masters of the world. We trembled before them.
The arrogance of the Gulf producers in those years was something to behold, particularly the Kuwaitis, who belatedly have come to appreciate the United States more than they did in the 1970s.
For Americans, one shocking fact stood out. Our dominance as a producer of oil was over. It would be the stuff only of museum pictures. In a country where the oil industry was born, where the huge Spindletop gusher in Texas and those hard-working rigs around the turn of the century made the U.S. the world's #1 producer. All that now seemed gone. Our oil was drying up.
Our factories will not be able to keep our people on the job with reduced supplies of fuel.
President Carter, April 1977.
Inflation will soar. Production will go down. People will lose their jobs.
There were predictions of dire things to come. America was losing its confidence. What happened that changed?
Well, I think that there are two fundamental changes. One is the national security threat has essentially gone away. The second change has been a remarkable change in production and supply conditions.
Texas oil men will tell you that technology saved the day. Computers and other advances have completely changed the way engineers like Bob Peebler and B.N. Morali find oil.
I think it's dramatic.
Bob Peebler points to just one example, a kind of industrial CAT scan that now searches out oil.
You have sound waves that go into the earth, and the clearer view you have of the subsurface, the more likely you can go find where to drill.
Not only that, drilling rigs now go far deeper and wider than they could 25 years ago, making it far cheaper to find oil. Engineer B.N. Morali.
Technology has reduced those costs 55% onshore and 80% offshore.
But those new high-tech tools are also bringing up more Middle East oil and creating new fields in places like Azerbaijan. So much oil, it's broken OPEC's lock on the world oil market. But it also means that we are depending even more on foreign oil. When Iraq invaded Kuwait in 1990, the U.S. had to go to war to protect a country that's a source of our energy supplies.
1 quart, Mrs. Flynn.
Despite years of boosting the fuel efficiency of our cars, Americans are using 13% more gasoline than they did 25 years ago. Good times for Anthony Russo.
Well, I'm doing double the business I did. Maybe even triple the business I've done.
Back in those days, the U.S. government spent $90 billion to cut down our dependence on foreign oil. But yet, we're using more of the stuff than ever.
A number of reasons. First, the public sense that this is a serious problem has disappeared. Secondly, oil prices are quite low. Thirdly, government policy has shifted so that we really don't have any teeth in policy to prevent the growth of consumption.
But, you know, back in those days when we were so worried about our oil supplies, only 28% of our oil came from abroad. Today, it's 48%. Isn't that a worrisome sign?
It is a worrisome sign in the long run.
But oilmen still hold to their traditional wildcatters' optimism.
I have no doubts that technology saved the day. I have no doubts that technology is going to be also save the day 10 years from now. If we did not have the technology gains that we've had in the last 25 years, we would be probably out of oil and gas.
If you were energy czar today, what would you tell us to do?
I would say, particularly, I would say, enjoy it while it's there. But remember that we are going to see a change in the future.
Are you saying that we really haven't solved the energy problem, that all we've done is sort of deferred the problem?
Oh, I think that's clearly the case.
Will our grandchildren have to worry about being in gasoline lines and not having enough energy?
I think that our grandchildren clearly will have to worry about the price of gasoline 30 years out, 40 years out, if automobiles still are dependent on gasoline.
7 even. 7.
Anthony Russo is counting on that. He plans on leaving the family gas station to his children. Still, nobody can be sure they and their children will not face more shortages. 25 years later, the U.S. has yet to learn the lesson of those lines. It can never be economically and militarily secure without secure sources of energy.
The men who made the Stinky Cheese Man, as Sunday Morning continues.
Hi, I'm David Orrick, and this is the fabulous Windsor Court Hotel, one of the top 20 hotels in the world. They used my amazing 8-pound Orrick XL, and now you can use it too, risk-free. So you can take the Orrick Challenge. Vacuum your carpet with your present vacuum, then vacuum it again with my 8-pound Orrick XL. You'll be amazed at what my Orrick XL, even at 8 pounds, picked up. Call for your 15-day home trial. Tile lifting roller brushes whirl at an incredible 6,500 RPMs. Its hypoallergenic top-fill design maintains professional cleaning power all the time. Call, and I'll also send you my Orrick Compact Vacuum absolutely free. It's so powerful, it'll even pick up a bowling ball. So take the Orrick Challenge. If I tried this with a lesser vacuum, I'd have to have my head examined. Call 1-800-454-4700. 1-800-454-4700.
Where will you be when the millennium turns? Your dreams change. So have we. Now Dean Witter and Morgan Stanley have joined to provide a world of investment advice on a personal level. The world will change, but at Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, we will always measure success, one investor at a time.
Around here, we're pouring something new on our salad. Because the people at Kraft figured we might like a light dressing that actually tasted good. So they made light done right. Finally, our favorite flavors with half the fat. They're new, and they taste a lot better than anything light has a right to. Light done right. I guess they just know what we like. Around here, the dressing is Kraft.
Writing books for youngsters can be child's play, especially if you have the nerve to play around a little with some time-worn fables, by telling the story of the 3 little pigs from the wolf's point of view, or swapping the character of the gingerbread man for another who smells so much of cheese that no one bothers to chase him. A little too strange for your taste? Well, maybe you're not reading what your kids are reading these days, as Martha Teichner explains.
Good morning, Mr. Smith.
Good morning, guys. Glad you
John Cheska and Lane Smith are paying a visit to Miss Rachel's 3rd graders with the Family Academy in Harlem to thank them for their help.
At long last, I thought I could finally come and show you the finished book. Yes.
About a year ago, Cheska tried out some stories he wrote on these same kids.
That's Lane's idea of a nice-looking squid.
Some rather peculiar fables that are now in a book illustrated by Smith.
I have a bill like a duck and a tail like a beaver, bragged duck-billed platypus. Ah, so what, said Beef Snack Stick. I have beef, soy protein concentrate, and dextrose.
Peculiar enough? It doesn't take long to figure out these aren't your average children's stories.
But I am one of only 2 mammals in the world that can lay eggs, bragged duck-billed platypus. Ah, big deal, said Beef Snackstick. I have beef lips. And the moral is, just because you have a lot of stuff, don't think you're so special.
That's just one story from their book, Squids Will Be Squids. In the foreword it says, these fables are about all kinds of bossy, sneaky, funny, annoying, dim-bulb people. Of course, nobody you know.
Elephant and mosquito stayed out late one night.
Anyway, they've all been turned into animals or beef snack sticks.
So the moral of the story is?
Don't ever listen to a talking bug.
Don't ever listen to a talking bug. What do you think?
Perverse is the word that pretty much sums up the goofy books Sheska and Smith do.
Perverse? Oh, I think it's just one's influences. You know, we grew up watching Rocky and Bullwinkle and reading Mad Magazine and Monty Python and all that. So whatever goes in seems to come out in its own way.
Yeah, a steady diet of cartoons and sitting really close to the TV.
Their first book together was The True Story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf, in which the wolf claims innocence. Publisher after publisher rejected it, said it was too sophisticated, too weird, until Viking came along. It has sold nearly 3 million copies.
The one thing that goes through all the books is how smart kids are, and that we always underestimate them.
John Sheska knows because he taught school for 10 years.
Was it even shorter last year? Check it out, man. Let me check out yours.
With a master's degree in writing, he was going to produce noble adult fiction. But it didn't work out that way.
I was teaching second grade at the same time and getting rejections for all my short stories, and then being much more successful with this audience of kids in front of me. So I think I just realized that I was writing my stuff to the wrong audience.
I just love the word tuber.
Tuber's good.
In order to write, Sheska left his teaching job and was painting offices part-time, including the spare one he borrowed for a year in, of all places, a Wall Street law office.
So I would dress up to look like one of the lawyer guys. I'd have my shirt and tie on, carry my little briefcase, and then just sit there and write stuff like Three Little Pigs and Stinky Cheese Man.
The broccoli actually looks like a big brain, I think.
Lane Smith was a magazine illustrator, but had an equally odd, formative job experience when he was in art school as a so-called custodial host, that is, janitor, at Disneyland.
I worked a lot of the off hours when the park was closed, so I would go in at night and clean out the Haunted Mansion. A lot of our influences are from pop culture. It was just great because by day at school I'd be studying Paul Klee and Francis Bacon and Edward Hopper, and then by night I'd be in this great plastic plate.
Freaky gingerbread world.
Would you believe they're working?
Yeah. I'll give you that one.
They say so. In the world of children's books, author and illustrator rarely meet, let alone play ping pong almost every day.
Yes.
John Sheska and Lane Smith were introduced by their wives, who worked together. The rest, you might say, was child's play.
There isn't a typeface that's like that, and
Molly Leach, Lane Smith's wife, designs the books. She sits at the computer helping to fracture fairy tales. So far, her favorite of the books is The Stinky Cheese Man and Other Fairly Stupid Tales.
well, it was the first one that I really was able to sink my teeth into, and they were just making fun of books in general. So I was able to put pages upside down and really play with the type. The publisher kind of thought we were nuts, but got it done.
In their retelling of Chicken Little, called Chicken Lickin', it isn't the sky that falls. It's the table of contents, squashing everybody. In the title story, the Stinky Cheese Man is just like the Gingerbread Man, except he's so smelly, nobody will chase him.
I think our books give kids permission to go ahead and mess around with something like fairy tales. Sheska wins. Sheska wins the pennant. Sheska wins the pennant.
When it comes to messing around, John Sheska and Lane Smith are virtuosos.
Oh. Well,
When they get tired of playing ping pong and making jokes in the studio where they work,
Need your haircut?
No, just had them all cut. Thanks.
they mess around someplace else. And one of their favorite places is New York's Chinatown.
Oh, look at these boys. Now,
On this particular day, they're looking for dried squid
how much is just one of these?
in honor of their new book.
I mean, it's not so much trying to find the inner child or anything. It's just trying to distract yourself, I think.
But I think the play is the stuff that comes before that kind of work, just to let those things in.
And after,
You've got the whole collection.
S&S on their recent book tour, warming up for their star turn on the Roseanne show.
Where do you get your ideas?
I didn't know.
How much money do you make?
Next question.
Their behavior suggests they might be the Laurel and Hardy of children's literature, although they do like the Smothers Brothers.
Ooh, said Blowfish. I know you are, but what am I?
Some part of John Sheska and Lane Smith never grew up, and that's good if your business is kids' books.
We're just misunderstood, said Wasp.
They never forgot how kids think,
Well, let me see the silent cheer.
so they understand how they learn.
It's more important to teach kids how to think than what to think. Because if you can equip them how to think or how to read, then they're ready for all kinds of stuff. They can apply that everywhere.
The most important thing is getting a kid to read, and a kid's certainly going to read something that's funny. And if there's a little message hidden in there, that's good too. But the most important thing is something that the kids will read over and over.
And of course, there's something deliciously disgusting about the very idea of stinky cheese.
You can change the color. Make the bacon.
John Leonard on the new Masterpiece Theater offering as Sunday Morning continues.
Okay, you need to send a birthday bouquet cross-country to your Aunt Bonnie. You'll never see those flowers, but she will. So, who are you going to trust? FTD, the world's gold standard for flower quality, artistry, and dependability. Nobody else even comes close. Ask for FTD by name. So even if you don't see the flowers, you'll know just what they're going to look like. Some of life's best moments come FTD.
Did you know the Autobahn has a special name just for Infinity G20s? And the G20 interior features an amazing sound system and a heated lap pool.
When Infinity owners exaggerate about their cars, it's only out of love. And right now, great deals at our half-yearly sales event have made them even easier to fall for. Hurry, event ends January 4th. Infinity. Own one, and you'll understand.
Dan, you look good. Lost weight?
Cut the act, Phil. I need to tell management what's happening with our website.
Okay.
In terms they can understand.
Every buck we spend, we'll earn $2 back by the end of the year.
The legacy of the great gold rush later on Sunday Morning.
Robert Edwards and the Patriots roar into Jacksonville and collide with the Jaguars' driving force, Fred Taylor. The NFL playoffs on CBS, the way it should be. This is the Great American Race.
Finally is a champion of the Daytona 500.
The Daytona 500 is on CBS.
The address is CBS.
Welcome home.
Tonight, will a plea for help
I'm the angel that you asked God to send you.
keep a teenage mother from selling her own baby? $10,000. Touched by an angel. Then, his passion was making money until he fell in love.
You convinced me that there were some things missing in my life.
Unfortunately,
Sabrina?
Hi.
his brother's falling for her too.
I got a surprise for you. I got one for you, too.
Harrison Ford, Julia Ormond, and Greg Kinnear star in Sabrina, CBS Tonight.
Come to Classic Antique. Browse through over an acre of unique and unusual in-home furnishings. Choose from 20 genuine antique bedroom suites crafted at the turn of the century using beautiful marbles, inlaid wood, and hand carving. Enjoy the vast array of wall art, beveled mirrors, lamps, and elegant decorative accent pieces. Discover hundreds of vintage-inspired home office furnishings. Choose from mission styles, cherry, nostalgic oak, or country rustic. Classic Antique, the authority for vintage and antique reproduction furnishings.
This is James DePriest inviting you to join the musicians of the Oregon Symphony and me for the 1998-99 Celebrity Season of Stars. Don't miss the power and the glory of live symphonic music, performed at the beautiful Arling Schnitzer Concert Hall. Reserve your seats today.
Tickets on sale now for James DePriest conducting cellist Hannah Chang. Call 790-ARTS.
Log on to Coin TV's Channel 6000 website at coin.com.
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Charles Osgood.
Time for a television review now from John Leonard. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Charles. Tonight, Monday and Tuesday on public television, our mutual friend, Charles Dickens' darkest novel, gets the Masterpiece Theater super series it deserves. 6 hours of seduction and betrayal, blackmail and murder, grave robbing and class war, doll making and taxidermy, peeping toms and disguised identities, dust heaps of Victorian rubbish, and a filthy corpse-strewn Thames. Keely Hawes stars as Lizzie, the boatman's daughter. Deserving far better than Paul McCann's dissolute lawyer, Rayburn, much less David Morrissey's mad schoolmaster, Headstone, she knocks our socks off.
Very grateful for it.
For that matter, Anna Friel's Bella deserves better than Stephen McIntosh as the wimp who so contemptibly spies on her. You'll like the Boffins, Pam Ferris and Peter Vaughan. You'll hate everyone else, except maybe Margaret Tizak as Lady Tippins. But the scary thrill of this production is the Thames itself, sluggish and foul. A drowning pool from which bodies are fished up to scavenge. And those burial mounds of refuse, like rubbishy dunes on a moon of waste. Looking back to William Blake's Satanic Mills and forward to T.S. Eliot's Wasteland, our mutual friend proposes another kind of recycling. Of flesh as commodity. Of humanity as waste. Okay, this is where I should explain that Dickens works so well on TV because both TV and Dickens specialize in abused children, inadequate parents, and oppressive institutions, in stereotypes, underdogs, coincidence, and revenge, in Gothic sentimentality, and fairy tales dressed up as social realism. But I have an ulterior agenda. Russell Baker retired last week from the New York Times after 3 decades as the Observer columnist. Henceforth, you will only be able to see him on Masterpiece Theater. He is the last of a breed, the lifelong newspaperman who'd rather read Evelyn Waugh or even Marcel Proust than listen to wiretaps and tattletales. In his diffident memoir, The Good Times, he tells us some hard-won truths everybody else forgot. Too many reporters, he says, for reasons of ego, juice, and social advancement, want to be players, demeaning themselves in their papers, betraying their readers by becoming propagandists. It's hard to become a player and stay in the business without ending up contemptible or a columnist. Worst of all is to end up a man content to wear out his hams, sitting in the marble corridors of power, waiting for important people to lie to him. A comic book intellectual, a human pomposity dilating on his constitutional duty, a drum thumper on a demagogue's bandwagon, a member of the claque for this week's fashion. I will miss our mutual friend. His feistiness belonged to an older notion of journalism as a craft, instead of a club of professional perkies worried about summer homes, private schools, black tie parties, and fancy vacations. Back when you knew the romance of ink and could read the type upside down. And belching machines connected brain and word, muscle and idea, hot lead and cool thought. Before you got into the information commodities yak show racket, after which your real story becomes yourself, phoned into the computer over a picket line, with plenty of hot air left over to float your blimpy self-importance so high up over dunes of waste and dumps of garbage that even in a mirror, you can't tell the pearls from the swine.
Russell Baker on Growing Up, later on Sunday morning.
You enter the financial world in search of a secure future. Instead, you find chaos and confusion. 9,000 companies to invest in.
Welcome to Market Mania!
10,000 mutual funds to choose from. Bonds, T-bills, commodities, precious metals. With new and unfamiliar choices emerging every day. The possibilities are overwhelming. Fortunately, there's a beacon in this complex world. An expert partner who, for half a century, has helped tens of thousands of individuals and families find comfort instead of confusion. Come to the mountain called First Union. Or if you prefer, the mountain will come to you.
Man, that chili was hot.
You got heartburn too?
Yeah. Want to try these new Pepsi AC chewables?
Said you gotta take it with water. What's the water for? No, it sounds you don't need water.
Just because new Pepsi is chewable doesn't mean it works like Tums. Tums calcium knocks out heartburn fast. Pepsi Chewable's famotidine has to go through your bloodstream, so it takes 40 minutes just to start controlling acid.
You want to go back for water?
Forget the water. Pass the Tums. My grandson's a cute kid, but one tough businessman. Hey, buddy. How much to fix my car?
Upfront pricing. What do you think this is, mister? That GM Goodwin Service Plus?
What a kid. Got upfront pricing, plus lifetime guarantee on parts and labor, plus courtesy transportation. GM Goodrich Service Plus. The little guy was right.
The plus means better.
Call for the select GM dealer near you. When their actor son died of an overdose, they never expected his body to show up on one of those reality-based TV cop shows.
How dare they display my son like that? How dare they do that?
They're suing for invasion of privacy. Have police and show producers gone too far? Eye on America, Monday on the CBS Evening News.
First impressions may be lasting, but often they're just plain wrong. Perception and reality only merge some of the time, as our Alison Stewart learned when she visited a young singer who was both pleasing and confounding his critics and fans.
When you're on your way to interview a guy named Rufus M. Wainwright, you kind of wonder who's going to answer the door.
Hello, Rufus M. Wainwright?
Yes.
What's the M for?
For master of the world.
Says you. Happy man.
I don't want to hold you and feel so helpless.
25-year-old Rufus Wainwright looks more like a rock star than the crooner he is.
With eyes in love. I want to follow in that old school thing of, Noel Coward or Cole Porter or Hoagie Carmichael is a great example of, where it wasn't only about the recordings of the music, but it's also about the whole person and the whole me as a performer. So I will walk without care, beat my snare, look like a man who means business.
Your music sounds almost old-fashioned.
Why is that?
Because I don't think that music ever changes, personally. I think that there's music that was written, you know, in the Renaissance, which is way hipper than what was written now, and a lot, or at least musically, and that really nothing new is being done ever in anything. It's just all about repetition. I steal a lot from the past.
Self-titled debut album sent music critics scrambling for the thesaurus. His songs are lush pop gems, postmodern standards written for the piano.
Why did you choose this instrument? Everybody your age plays guitars.
I don't know what happened. It's a bit of a curse, but I love it. I think it's very indicative of my personality. You know, it's something that you can't carry around with you, and that requires a lot of uptake and upkeep, and that's, you know, too big for the room, too loud.
Little high maintenance.
Little high maintenance. Beautiful looking, though.
Sounds great.
Sounds great.
1998 was a good year for Wainwright. He landed on numerous best of lists, including the Los Angeles Times. Rolling Stone magazine just named him Best New Artist of the Year, and there's talk of a Grammy nomination. It's quite a lot of pop praise for a young man whose main influence has been opera.
So you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
How do you find out about this? Your friends are all listening to REM and pop stars.
I don't know. I sort of enjoyed. I don't know. It was a real sort of poisoning addiction kind of thing that happened. I just heard it once, and it was almost, you know, it was like a thing of I could never go back. It was a road that I had to take with opera, and it really helped shape my musical character. So it was a calling.
Genetics played an even more important role.
This is my Aunt Anna.
Rufus is the son of beloved Canadian folk singer Kate McGarrigle and American troubadour Loudon Wainwright III.
That's my shirt.
Where's the name Rufus from?
We have arguments with this. We didn't want to call him Loudon the Fourth.
It's tough enough to be the third. And the fourth is really pretentious. So we called him Rufus. When my grandmother was informed that her first grandchild was to be called Rufus, she said, "Rufus, that's a dog's name."
When did you realize that Rufus was paying attention to music when he was little?
He was very small, but he was in the back seat of the car, and I was kind of sing to him, and I started to sing, "Old MacDonald had a farm. Old MacDonald had a farm. Yeah, yeah, yeah." That's one. "Old MacDonald had a farm. Yeah, yeah." I thought, oh, yeah, he was able to actually like distinguish. He was able to actually sing before he could speak.
His parents divorced, and Rufus grew up in Montreal with his mother. She sat him down at the piano at an early age.
And the piano is a real instrument which you can get lost at. I mean, just the nature of the way you play it. I mean, if you're like sitting here, like, you know, you're facing the piano, it's very enveloping. There's just some relationship between me and that instrument, which is my private time and which is my release.
He started out with a regular stint at a Montreal coffee shop.
I need more of me in my monitor, more of this voice.
And ended up with a record deal with the prestigious DreamWorks label. The record was produced by Van Dyke Parks, legendary for his work with Beach Boy Brian Wilson and Randy Newman.
The record was probably made before he met anyone here in Los Angeles. He had ideated it, probably on a walk, a romp through a park or something. I think that his songs show that. They're intensely personal. He's kind of, as they say in Rome, a sui generis type of guy. He's of his own design, and that's what it takes to distinguish a person, I think, as an individual in the songwriting business.
It took 2 years to make the record, and Rufus used all the whistles and bells he could, from antique microphones to full orchestras.
This record was either going to be made one of two ways. Piano, solo, voice. Simple, stark. That or it was going to be, the whole hog.
The kitchen sink.